Turning the lens on tourists. Imagine a grey dull day somewhere in northern Europe. Temperatures are dropping, the days are getting shorter, the umbrella is a constant companion. It is November and the mood is low. It is time to get out, to escape, in search of endless sunshine, tropical waters to swim in, white sandy beaches fringed by palm trees, and the allure of the exotic. A holiday is needed. Every year, millions of people escape the winter in the northern hemisphere. Many fly to warm and exotic destinations in the south. All of these destinations are developing countries. In 1980, there was 20%, now 40% of global travel leads to a developing country. In real terms, this means that out of the total international arrivals of over 1 billion people, around 400 million arrive in a developing country. You might be one of them. Some argue that tourism today is one of the largest economic sectors in the world, equaling or even surpassing oil exports, food products, or automobiles. It is a highly important economic sector for many developing countries. It is classified as an export sector that provides much needed foreign exchange earnings for these countries. It can help to finance schools, hospitals, and roads, for example. However, tourism goes beyond just being an export sector such as tea, coffee, or bananas, where the product bought is consumed at home. Because the tourists travel to the destination to consume the holiday, the tourism industry can offer ample opportunities for linkages to other industries in the countries visited. These would, for example, be the construction companies that build the resorts that tourists stay in, the decorators that furnish these resorts with items made from local products and using local skills, the farmers that supply their products to restaurants and hotels, and agricultural is in many developing countries the most important economic sector. Thus, the tourism industry can help to sustain a productive agricultural sector. And also craft producers that sell their products to hotels for decoration and to tourists as souvenirs, and many, many more. Thus, the tourism industry can be an important agent for development. But many developing countries also face very particular and often fragile social, human, economic, and natural environments that could jeopardize the sector's dynamism and beneficiary qualities. But there is much that we as tourists can do, even little things, that not only create benefits for people living in the destinations, but also create a richer and more enjoyable holiday experience for us as tourists. We would like to give you an example of this complex situation in a popular tourism destination in the Indian Ocean, Zanzibar. But Zanzibar is just one example, and similar situations can be found in many developing countries. Zanzibar, also called the Spice Islands, conjures images of the exotic, blue seas and white sandy beaches. The Zanzibar archipelago is a semi-autonomous part of the United Republic of Tanzania, located around 45 kilometers off the coast in the Indian Ocean. Zanzibar is a melting pot of cultures with a very distinct Swahili identity. The name was given by the Persians and Arabs and means coast of the blacks. It became a trading post in the Persian Empire as it was ideally located on the trade routes between India, the Middle East, and Africa. The Arabic culture still strongly influences Zanzibar today, from the religion, tradition, food, lifestyles, traditional arts, to political sentiments towards independence from Tanzania, and finally also attitudes towards tourism and tourists. Today, tourism is Zanzibar's most important economic sector. The 500,000 tourists visiting Zanzibar annually are estimated to generate just under 40% of the GDP and 70% of export earnings. Basically, without tourism, Zanzibar would lose its main income. However, tourism does not sit very easily within the Zanzibari culture. Some reasons might be that 1. It developed very fast within just the past 2 decades. Many Zanzibaris feel that they might not have that easily adjusted to this rapid change and were not ready to take on jobs in the tourism industry, or even fully understand what is needed to be a successful tourism destination. One needs to remember that taking holidays abroad is a northern activity, and many Zanzibaris have never taken a holiday, let alone staying in hotels or lying on the beach all day to get a suntan. 2. Working in the tourism industry is not seen as a high-status occupation, in particular not by the older generation. Many Zanzibaris argue that their nature is to get engaged in trade and not serve coffee to tourists. 3. The Islamic tradition seems to object to hedonistic pleasure that is often the essence of a typical holiday experience, sunbathing on the beach in skimpy bikinis, enjoying a drink all day long, or even letting it all out while enjoying a full moon party in places like Kendwa. 4. A sense of contentment and hakuna matata. 5. The lack of skills that are needed to serve an international clientele, in particular, the ability to speak English. This has led over the years to a rapid influx of mainland Tanzanians and Kenyans looking for employment opportunities and finding them, often illegally. Some estimate that over 50% of the jobs offered in hotels and resorts are taken by people not originating from Zanzibar. So does this industry provide development opportunities for Zanzibaris? And there are already signs of resentment. Zanzibari women and tourism. The situation for Zanzibari women to become engaged in the tourism industry is often even more complex. They might feel restricted by the Islamic traditions. Their husbands and families might not prefer for them to work in direct contact with tourists and especially men. They might not be allowed to serve alcohol or be in places of extreme hedonism. They might have childcare and household responsibilities that will not allow them to work in hotels far away from their households and well into the night. They might not have the skills to work in resorts and hotels. As a consequence, many women in Zanzibar take a backstage position. They do not serve the tourists directly. They clean the rooms or work in the kitchens without any contact to guests. The front stage positions are taken by men, the waiters and receptionists, who not only receive higher salaries but also the all-important tips. Women seem excluded from this all-important industry, but they are allowed to enter it through the back door by producing and selling their crafts. This is very important, as they can produce the crafts at home while caring for their children and chatting with their friends. The production of crafts and the selling of it can build their confidence. They can generate their own income and be less reliant on male members of their families. They can come in contact with foreigners in a less controversial way and exchange ideas. They can build their skills and pass them on to their children. But really, these are Western ideas. What do Zanzibari female craft producers really feel about their situation? What do they think about tourism and tourists? Do they feel they and their children benefit from tourism? What are the barriers to enter the tourism industry? Are their husbands, families, and social structures supportive? Do tourists buy, and where should tourists buy? The project. The idea was simple, but it turned out much more complicated. First, the idea. Tourists take endless holiday pictures, the landscape, their fun, the locals. We wanted to turn the lens. We wanted the female producer groups to tell us what tourism and tourists means to them. We could have done this by simply bombarding some of them with questions and hoping for responses, writing them down and using them for academic publication that only we read. We made it a tiny bit more complicated and, we think, far more interesting. We all love visual images. Thus, we asked them to take pictures of what tourism means to them. Essentially, we provided 5 craft producer groups with digital cameras and asked them to record their feelings about tourism and tourists and what it means to them. We asked them to do this between June and September 2015. Not an easy task, because most of the women never used a camera before and needed training. The project took place during Ramadan in 2015 and just before the general election. The women were reluctant to actually take pictures of people due to their Islamic traditions. Not like us, where we take pictures of everything and anything, constant selfies come to mind. Taking pictures was seen as work and not enjoyable. It was a new experience. It just did not come natural. But it is the fact that they took them that makes them beautiful, and we would like to share them with a wider audience. Before exposing the pictures and their meanings to the Zanzibari women who took those photos, we would first like to introduce the 5 producer groups. The producer groups. 1. Sussex. Sussex was founded in 1993 by 3 Zanzibari women who wanted to use their skills while also passing them on to others. The main aim was to empower Zanzibari women and provide them with an opportunity to secure their own source of income. The women receive 35% of the sales value of the pillowcase they produce and are paid on a monthly basis. Today, Sussex works with 45 women from different villages in Zanzibar, and their key product are beautiful hand-sewn pillowcases that they mainly sell to hotels and restaurants, but they also sell them to tourists. The shop in Gizenga Street is very important for the women, not just as a sales outlet, but as a meeting place for themselves, and, most importantly, to interact with tourists and exchange ideas. 2. Kidoti Soap. The group was started in 1991 by 22 women living in Kidoti near Nungwi, who were encouraged by a new government act to establish cooperatives. Kidoti uses seaweed from their own seaweed plantations to produce soap enriched with local spices such as cloves, cinnamon, vanilla, among others. These soaps are of high quality and mainly sold directly to a hotel for use in the guest bathrooms. The members are all over the age of 45 with a limited formal education and no English language skills. They feel that they could benefit from new blood to enable them to set up a successfully run enterprise. For the past 20 years, they have been heavily reliant on donor aid and also on middlemen to sell their products. 3. Dada and Moto. The main workshop is located in Piti, and they have a shop in Gizenga Street, Stone Town. Moto was set up in 2003 by a German development worker and a Zanzibari couple. The aim was to support rural women by teaching them how to make baskets and selling them in the Moto shop in Stone Town. Moto produces kikois, baskets and other ukili products, while Dada, the sister company, produces cosmetics. All products are 100% organic and made with local materials. The workshop in Piti offers tourists the opportunity to learn about the traditional Swahili weaving craft and tradition. 4. Zanzibar Carving Center. The workshop is located on Gizenga Street in Stone Town, behind the old fort. The workshop was set up by the Technical College to support women to engage in a very traditional Zanzibari craft activity, wood carving, a traditionally male-dominated activity. The workshop is led by 2 female teachers, and they produce a variety of traditionally carved items from small ornaments to the traditional Zanzibar doors. 5. Malkia Design. The workshop is located in Bevaju, and they sell on markets along the east coast of Zanzibar. The group was founded in 2006 as a hobby by two friends, Salama and a Danish woman, in order to combine East African kitenge and kanga material with European design. Today the group has 10 members who make tailor-made clothes, for example dresses, shirts, skirts and bags for their customers. Let us show you the beautiful pictures these women took. They represent how these women feel by turning the lens on tourists and tourism.
alivyofanya kijiti. Tazameni, tazameni alivyofanya kijiti, kumchukua mgeni, kumchezesha foliti, kumchukua mgeni, kumchezesha foliti, kenda naye maguguni, kamrejesha maiti, kenda naye maguguni, kamrejesha maiti,
kamrejesha maiti, kamrejesha maiti, kamrejesha maiti, kamrejesha maiti, yanaye maguguni, kamrejesha maiti, yanaye maguguni, kamrejesha maiti.
kijiti alinambia, ondoka mama twenende. Kijiti alinambia, ondoka mama twenende. Laiti ningelijua, ningekata nisende. Laiti ningelijua, ningekata nisende. Kijiti unaniua, kwa pegi moja ya tende. Kijiti unaniua, kwa pegi moja ya tende.
Kwa pegi moja ya tende, 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 kijiti unaniua, kwa pegi moja ya tende, kijiti unaniua.
amekasirika kitini alipoketi. Jaji amekasirika kitini alipoketi. Kasema bila liful mashahidi wa kijiti. Kasema bila liful mashahidi wa kijiti. Takufunga Sumaili na keibiti subeti. Takufunga Sumaili na keibiti subeti.
na kei